What's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining. We're about to get started. We've got a lot to talk about today. As you probably are already aware, a lot has transpired in the last few days, and I'm sure all of you are ready to talk about it. And I know I've seen some of you guys in other people's streams. I've been watching a number of other YouTube creators and live streamers on here with their opinions and thoughts. So I'm already a little bit aware of what some of you guys think. Those of you who do watch other creators, but I'm interested to see what you guys have to say with me today. Whilst my commentary might not be too much different, hopefully I can speak about some things that other people have failed to mention. Maybe make you guys think a little bit more about certain things that are happening and transpiring around you. At least that is what I'm looking to do it. That's what I'm looking to do today, at least. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining. It's lovely to see all of you here. Thank you very much for coming. We have just started. We're not even 5 minutes in yet. So thank you to those of you who are here on time. I know I didn't necessarily give you guys much time today to prepare yourselves for a live stream, but I would like you to be aware that I actually am feeling better now, so you should expect more of me this week. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow covering tonight's interview. I will be doing a well thought out presentation discussing the interview and how I felt about the things that were said and the ramifications of the things that have been said as well, from a hopefully objective standpoint.
Congrats on over 2k subs.
I love you, Roxy. Thank you very much. Yes, those of you who don't know, thank you very much, Roxy, for making it aware to all of you who are watching. I have just reached 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and whilst that may not seem like a huge goal or an accomplishment for many on here, it is a big accomplishment for me. And I would like to say thank you to those of you who have subscribed and those of you who are engaging in my content. I know I'm not producing as much content as some of you would like me to, but I will have you all know that I will be producing more this week and next week, and henceforth, if I can. Unfortunately, I have been a bit unwell. I've been sick with various things. I had bronchitis a week or so ago, and I've been feeling very fatigued since then. I'm not sure if any of you guys could understand that, or if any of you guys have felt like that, but it's been very unrelenting, and I'm now starting to feel a little bit better. Did you see a doctor? No, and the reason why is because I'm afraid of doctors. I'm afraid of medical. Anybody who works in medicine, anything like that, just scares me a lot. I've always been like that since I was a young boy. Quality over quantity, mate. Yes, but if I can offer you quality every day, isn't that better than a couple of times a week? I mean, you make a fantastic point, but, you know, if I can offer you quality every single day, what's not to love, you know? But anyway, been here since before 1k, right, Shizzo? I agree. So, guys, we are now 7 minutes into my stream, and whilst I do love having these little chats and talking about various things, I know there are people who are watching this on replay, who are watching this back, and whilst they can obviously skip over things, you guys can't. I think it's very important that we jump into the topic at hand today. But I do appreciate all of your comments. I appreciate those of you who care enough to ask me questions about myself, and I'd like you guys to all be aware that I'm doing okay. So thank you very much, and I hope you're all doing okay as well. I think it's very important that I include that. I feel like a lot of live streamers are very quick to make things about themselves, but I mean, you guys are just as important as me in the grand scheme of things. So anyway, let's jump into this. Let's jump into this bullshit that's going on right now. Holy fucking shit. So be aware, guys, I will most likely wail a couple of times today. I will most likely laugh a bit. I've been getting some criticism, some flack on my live streams for my insidious and somewhat annoying laugh, and just my annoying tendencies as a live streamer. If you don't like it, fuck off. There are loads of other commentators you can watch. If you don't like me or like the things that I do, eat a dick. You know, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Those of you who do like me, you know, get used to it. So I think the first thing that's really important for me to state is Onision's Patreon got removed. And I feel like this has been something that people have been trying to accomplish for a long time. I'm sure we can all agree on that, can't we? People have been trying to accomplish this feat for a very, very long time, and it's finally happened. And whilst I am very, very pleased, very happy that this is the case, that this has happened, I feel like this is, whilst it's definitely not too little too late, it's one of those, why couldn't have you done this ages ago, you fuckers, kind of situation. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's kind of bittersweet for me. You know, you've been aware of, you know, what's obviously transpired, the things that have been happening. And I honestly don't believe that Patreon has, up until recently, finally become aware of this. I think they've known for a long time. And I think that there have been people in the past who have probably emailed them, who've contacted them and told them about Onision's behaviour. But it seems now they got rid of him. And I'd like to say something, by the way. And for any of you guys in the chat, feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to offer your opinion. And to those of you who are watching this, watching this back, feel free to offer your insight too. I think the only reason they actually got rid of him is because they were done with the harassment. Like, and by harassment I mean, okay, let me be very specific about this. They were done with dozens and dozens of people, hundreds, maybe even thousands of people messaging their email services, asking them to get rid of him. I genuinely believe that is why they got rid of him. I don't think it's anything to do with the harassment or bullying that he's done. And it seemed like they made the doxing thing a very big thing, even though it didn't happen on Patreon. It's like, oh, well, we're not going to support somebody who's doxing elsewhere. And whilst, like, I don't agree with the doxing, I really, really don't agree with that. I think it's so bad. One of the worst things you can do as a viewer, as a live streamer, is dox somebody. Because that is when things become very personal, very real. We're supposed to be in a safe environment, and we can't be safe when people are doing things like that. So I don't agree with that. But that's nothing to do with Patreon. Patreon shouldn't be involved in that. It didn't happen on their platform. So it's like, it seems like Patreon was just using that as a reason to get rid of him. And whilst I do agree that they should have got rid of him, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't, I'm just saying they're looking at it and going, so many people have messaged us, they are overrunning our email services, all of the emails are, get rid of Onision, get rid of Onision. We're just going to get rid of him. We're going to use that as the reason. Say that he's a bully and harasser. I think there are definitely DMs that he's done on Patreon that have been harassy. But would that constitute a permanent ban? I don't know. Like, I'm not aware of all the things that have transpired on Patreon. Perhaps you guys know more than me in regards to that. Okay, so Patreon changed their terms of service to include things which occur off Patreon a while back. So, okay, that's valid, but I just think that whole idea is kind of strange. But I don't know. I guess it, especially in 2019 with how social media is, it's not a good representation or reflection of Patreon, is it? If they allow somebody who, maybe whilst they're not necessarily being awful on their platform, they're being awful elsewhere. So I can actually understand that from like a PR standpoint. And I'm sure all of you can get your head around that, whether you agree or not. Thank you, Rihanna. But doesn't he promote his Twitter on Patreon, vice versa? I can see why they'd want it gone. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely a grey area for me, but perhaps you guys know my commentary. I'm really gonna give you guys a different perspective, and I think it's important as well. I think it's important that I kind of offer something a little bit different and not just blow smoke up your ass, just do exactly the same thing as everybody else. And I do feel this way. I think it's important to state that. Patreon said it don't matter. Whatever platform you violate their terms, they get rid of you. Yeah, and I'm not like necessarily against it. I mean, I'm just kind of criticizing the fact that it's happening now, and it feels like it's just Patreon. They're using this situation because they're doing it because all of you guys are talking about it, and it's true what they say, isn't it? One person's voice is not much, but if we all shout together, if we all shout in unison, they will fucking hear us. They will fucking hear us. That is so valid, and it's been proven. I feel like this constitutes proof of that, and I really want to say this as well. Like, I've always criticised the whole cancel culture thing. I actually don't think cancel. I'm starting to change my mind. I literally think this is cancel culture, and not necessarily in a bad way. Like, it's for a good reason. And usually cancel culture is just people being petty and somewhat despicable and just attacking people to make themselves feel better, digging up stuff from people's past that happened in a different time and trying to ruin them for it. And whilst, you know, some of this stuff is important to bring up when it constitutes what they're doing currently in terms of Onision, I think the idea that has been made into cancel culture is a bad idea. But it seems with Onision specifically, this is not a bad thing. It can be good, and I think it really depends on, number one, the people who are doing it. All right, the people who are rallying and spearheading this movement. And from what I can see, there are actually a lot of very compassionate, loving, kind people who are involved in this anti-Onision thing that's going on, this whole movement, right? There are a lot of genuine people who are involved in this. But there are obviously radicals. There are people who send Onision death threats, send Kai death threats, etc., say nasty things, make jokes about the whole situation and kind of make themselves look like the very monster they despise. But most people don't do that. And that's always going to be the case. No matter what group, whether it's political, religious, whether it's a social group, it doesn't really matter what. There's always going to be a small, radical, somewhat extremist group. It's just unfortunately the way it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles, folks. Exactly, yeah, Karma, exactly. You're exactly right, yeah. It probably just helped him. No, it definitely hasn't helped him. Some people have been saying that. Some people have been saying that Onision has been gaining a lot of success from this. What are you smoking? Because I want some of that after my live stream, alright? I need some of that. That is fucking ridiculous.
Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you,
Please
Crockett.
continue.
Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Crockett. Unfortunately, I am not a partner on YouTube yet. I'm having problems with my... You know what it is. The thing that connects YouTube and money. AdSense. I'm having problems with my AdSense currently. Hopefully, I'll be a partner soon. We'll see. I actually haven't been, like, declined or anything like that. It's just kind of on... I need to like reapply and sort it out. But anyway, please let's get back onto what I was saying. It's very, very important that we continue to talk about this. So yeah, I definitely don't think this has been helping him. I don't think this has been helping him in any way, shape, or form. And I think the anti-Onision movement has done exactly what it's been setting out to do. It has been alienating him from his younger audience. It has been making him out to be... he's portraying himself to be the monster that many people think he is. And in my opinion, he is digging himself into a very, very deep hole with his current behaviour. Whilst there are lots of people who would try to de-escalate the situation and explain what happened with all of these various women and tried to make amends, he has actually made it worse. He's made it worse. He has doxed. He doxed Sarah. He has made loads of unnecessary comments about the victims. He has been a fool. And this is not how you behave when going in these situations. I think that Onision, a couple of years ago, should have made the decision to hire a PR guy. Somebody who could keep him out of the shit. And whilst I'm not necessarily saying, I'm not saying that in support of Onision, I'm just saying there are lots of motherfuckers on YouTube who are just as shady as Onision. Maybe not as, you know what I mean? They are along the same degree as Onision, right? And they do very well for themselves because they have great PR teams and they have people who support them and work with them and protect them. They are all in a part of a ring. You know, I'm not necessarily saying a pedo ring. I'm just saying a ring of celebrity status. So, anywho, let's read some of these comments. As you guys can see, I'm on a fucking roll today. For any of you guys who are new here, welcome to my live streams. It's lovely to have you here. But let's have a look at some of these comments that we've got. It's always important to make you guys, include you guys in what's going on. His tweets are so graphic. Twitter is very strange when it comes to graphic material. You can post porn on there. You can post sexual fan fictions. You are allowed to post sexual, like outtakes from your mind or from books. Like, you're allowed to do that. And I think that's one thing I find very obscure about Twitter. I don't like it. I genuinely don't like it. I don't like that Twitter does that. Because I have, in the past, followed people on Twitter. And I would wake up in the morning. And I know that Penny Page posted something about this recently. But I have to also say that this has happened to me too. Open my Twitter. And the first thing I see are like people having sex. And I think there is a time and a place for porn. And I do not want it on my Twitter timeline. I do not want it on my Twitter timeline when I first wake up. That does not help me in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not that much of a sex pest. I'm not an Onision, unfortunately. But whatever. Let's look at what else we got here. It's sad, really. He could have done so well on YouTube if he was a normal person like Shane Dawson. Yeah, but he's not. He's not a normal person. And yeah, it is sad, but the fact of the matter is, if he actually is what people are accusing him of, if he is actually a pedophile...
Loki is legit.
Thank
Your
you.
opinions are diverse.
Thank you very much.
Well
Thank you for the money.
If
If Onision actually is the P word, which there is references, there is, damned evidence that the FBI currently has, by the way, guys. Apparently the FBI has evidence to represent this, to represent the use of, the ownership of child pornography, apparently, which is absurd. I really hope we find out more about that in the coming weeks, once the investigation is, kind of done. But the fact of the matter is, he was never going to be a normal person. Like that's one thing I really want to say. If you're literally a person who thinks about having sexual relationships with children, you need to get yourself fucking sorted, man. You need to sort yourself out. You need to stay away from kids. You need to stay away from the internet, man. And I don't know, man. I don't know what you're supposed to do for people like that. There isn't really any safe institute for people like that. But I don't know. I don't really know if I want to get into that today. I feel like this could be a whole different live stream. But some people say that being attracted to children is like being gay or being bi. People say that. Well, pedos say it. Pedos say it. That's what they say. And they believe that they should be a part of the LGBTQ plus movement, right? That they should be a part of that. Don't tell me the STFU. I'm not agreeing with that. I'm not agreeing that it should be. What I'm saying is I believe it's choice. I believe they're choosing to do that. That is... I know that's a really controversial thing to say, but that is what I think. That is what I think. I think it's a choice, and It's strange. Because I think it's more about control than anything. Just like murderers, you know. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Nye. Like, there are so many like legitimate paedophiles who have like wives and have.
The Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 kids.
Did he? Well, thank you for the $3. And like, yeah, a lot of pedophiles. Like, I've known this from my investigations in the past on another live stream platform. That a lot of these men, they are married, and they will use that as their first line of defense. If somebody was to accuse them of being a nonce, they would literally turn around and say, "Well, I'm married. I've got 2 children. Like, I am not that. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. That is not a fucking good reason. That is not an excuse. That you can't use that to protect yourself, because that is bullshit. What's a nonce? It's the British word for a pedo. It's just a much funnier word to describe a dumb cunt who engages in stuff like that. So for any of you who are American or Canadian from elsewhere, you've learned some slang for today. You're very welcome. That's what you get when you watch a British live streamer. Thank you, Take It. Well, I'll be excited for the prospects. And by the way, Take It, I do support you in what you've been saying, by the way, elsewhere. I do, and I spoke about it a little bit earlier, but I'm not going to get into any detail about that today. You can watch my replay or ask somebody who's there. Just what you should know. See, I like what RBF is saying. Resting bitch face. That's her name. I'm not being horrible, guys. Leave me alone. Most pedophiles blend in with the average members of society. That's how they get access to their victims. And surprisingly, and this is something that I find really fucking twisted, there are men and women who will literally, and I don't know, I'd love to like understand the psychology behind this, but they will go to university, to college, study to become a teacher just so they can have access to kids. Could you imagine revolving your whole life around this sick fantasy to be close to children? Could you imagine being that fucking twisted? It is grim. It is grim. And that does represent, in my opinion, large majority of these like legitimate pedos, nonsense. That is not typical for teachers. I want you guys to be aware that is not typical for teachers. But the amount of stories that we've heard about teachers, maybe gym teachers, to be exact, who would kind of watch the boys shower and things like that. You always hear stories about that, like stuff like that. It's just very obscure, very strange. But yeah, honestly, like a lot of things that I've said today, and I want you guys to all be aware, a lot of these groups are very, very slim minorities of a much more respectable majority who are not like that, who are either good teachers or I don't give a fuck, where's my paycheck teacher. We've all had both. We've probably all had both here. We've all had both kinds of teachers. The teachers who want to be there and the teachers that have to be there. I don't want to get into any of that. But anyway. So I've had both. Or at least that's the way they seem. All right. Well, it's just. Can you tell? Oh, well, that's why you're defending yourself. Well, you don't have to. You know. Obviously, I'm not. It wasn't even a sweeping statement. So if it was, I would have understood. But it wasn't. I wouldn't worry. The pay is shit. Depends on what country you're from. Actually, in some countries it's much better than others, and the perks of also being a teacher is very valued. Delete your message, retract it, definitely. Try not to have personal information on my live streams. I can't be held responsible for anything that would happen from that, of course. Shush. I'm just saying. But anyway. Anywho. So I do want to continue on. I feel like I've almost derailed myself a little bit, and I think this conversation has been very interesting, but we do obviously have a lot more to discuss today. I think it's very, very important that we kind of jump into things. I want to be very, very quick. Yeah, I know in the US, teachers get paid garbage, and I think the thing is about people like that is what you pay people. It kind of represents how hard they're going to work. If you keep people motivated and you pay them well, they will be more likely to work harder. And I feel like that's why the educational system in America especially is mediocre at best, depending on where you're from, which is just a real shame, really. Either teachers don't have the things that they need to be able to teach effectively, or, you know, there is enough, like, especially, actually, this is something in the UK, there's not that many full-time teachers anymore. It's a lot of part-time teachers who have to do different jobs and work 2 or 3 jobs. It's awful. And I think it's one of the reasons why I will not become a teacher at any point. That and the fact that, especially teenagers just annoy me. I don't like youths. I'm like the opposite of it. One of those get off my lawn kind of guys. But anyway, despite all of that, let's really talk about it. So, one thing I didn't really speak about in my last live stream, because I think this actually happened since, and I want to speak about this really, really briefly, because I'm British, right? So I feel like I need to say something about this. Onision's been shading British people. Did you guys hear? He's been making fun of our accents and the way we say things. Did you guys hear about that? I am very hurt, Onision. I'm very upset about that. I'm heartbroken. And a lot of people are saying that the implication, the reason why he's done this, is because there was a recent Patreon livestream that he did that a male patron of his from the UK was getting a lot of attention from the ladies in his Patreon, which I don't actually know if that's necessarily true or not. I feel like we all want to believe it was, right? Because if that is actually the case, if he's actually jealous of one of his patrons getting some attention from the girls who were there, what does that really say about him as a man? First of all, he's married, he's got children, he has girls on the side, like, and he's literally like butthurt because some British guy is like getting some kind of like more, you know, some, not necessarily, I don't even know if it's even flirting, it's just like nice compliments and kind of controlling the conversation for a couple of minutes, 5-10 minutes. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I mean, you know, we got some great accents, of course. You know, especially depending where you're from. There are some British accents that are atrocious, quite ghastly, but there are some lovely ones. I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that he literally like went out of his way to criticize it and actually have what he said. So this is what he said. Quite a few people have let me know that they unsubscribed from my YouTube channel because of my recent comments on British accents. Out of fear of losing more subs, I would like to sincerely, from the heart, offer my sincerest fuck you and your retarded accent. I hate saying that word, man. Again, I am so deeply not at all sorry for telling you that your accent is not only ridiculous sounding, but makes your grown men sound like sissy boys. And or inbred, depending on what part of the UK you're from. To Americans from many of the southern states, your men sound like men, yes, but they sound like they sleep with their sisters. I mean, it's better than sounding like, hey, I'm Onision, hi! Like, fucking hell, man. Like, I'd rather sound British and say things a little bit different and sound like a nasally fucking Squidward, alright? Fuck off. Like, I mean, what are you fucking offering in terms of accent and voice, Onision, sir? Like, Do you wanna do a fucking battle at dawn? You know, fucking get my glove off, give you a quick slap. You what, mate? Yeah, so he was making comments about how British people say doggy. Who the fuck says doggy? Doggy, like, who the fuck says doggy? And I know that's like one of the things that he like mentions, because obviously it has to be about sex for him. So it has to be like what British person goes, "Oh, hello, we're just partaking in some doggy today." Like, who the fuck does that, man? Like, you've got to be one of those British people who's got like a really fucking low jaw, who's like a part of the aristocracy. And it's like, well, I am the fourth lord of Buckinghamshire. Nice to meet you. You know, like you've got to be really you've got to be one of those kind of uppity, you know, I wear suspenders, etc. stuff, right? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. If your accent results in the mispronunciation of countless words, your accent is literally stupid. Looking at you, UK and 7 states. Alright, well, I do want to say this, and I'm not trying to like take a dig at anybody who's American here, because you know I like your accents, I like your voices. I got no criticism of that, but be aware of where the English language came from. That's all I'm gonna say. Just be aware of where it came from, and who and how this language came to be. It wasn't because of Americans, and actually, the Americans Americanified it. You made it your own. So any differences between English and American was of your own fruition. Our language, in its simplest form, was made from a number of various groups: the French, the Normans, which were kind of like Northern French, the Saxons, the Jutes, the Angles, the Danes. The Romans as well, of course, and the Celts. There are lots of different groups that made us, you know, the language that we formed, that we have now. And it definitely wasn't Onision. Onision didn't. The Jutes, Juttes. It's a part of Denmark. The northern part of Denmark. I know my fucking history, guys. Especially when it comes to the Middle Ages. That's my stuff. And yeah, like and Onision didn't create the English language. So and yeah, I like Southern accents. I feel like that's the I like Matthew McConaughey, for example. I love that. I love that vibe. But anyway, do I really want to sit here and talk about how he's making fun of our accents? It's dumb. It's clearly satire, and it seems like I'm just getting I'm getting annoyed over nothing, really. Austrian? Are you Austrian or Australian? I mean, Austrian. Interesting. Anyway, so let's jump on to the next thing. So, for any of you guys who have just joined, we to all be aware, if you are not already aware, that Onision's Patreon was taken down by Patreon after the extensive amount of complaints about Onision's behaviour on not just their platform, but on Twitter, elsewhere. They decided to cut their losses and get rid of the Sith Lord, the Dark Lord of Patreon. And it seems that it was, I said this a little bit earlier, and I'll say this very, very quickly. I feel like it could have been done sooner. But it's good that it did finally happen, of course. And he did a live stream after this all came out. And in that live stream, he didn't really show that much he didn't really seem to care that much about his Patreon. That seems to be what I kind of gathered. I didn't watch it, but I spoke to some people who did watch it, and that seems to be what I'm really getting And it's strange. We're gonna get to the video meltdown because I'm actually I feel like I'm making sense of what I'm saying, but reading your comment, you're probably thinking that I'm wrong. Let me get to it, okay? So from his live stream, he seemed to compose himself very well. He seemed to be very, very careful with the way what he was saying. He said that he didn't really he said he didn't really seem to care that he lost his Patreon. And some of his patrons that he was talking to encouraged him to, set up, maybe remake his Patreon account or set up a GoFundMe or something to kind of, so he can like support himself. But he's actually hoping to find a platform that has, in what he states, something with good PR. He thinks that what Patreon has done is not good PR. Actually, what Patreon has done is very, very good PR. Getting rid of a very problematic, very difficult person is very, very good for their organization, for their company. I'm aware that there have been people who have completely stopped using Patreon and supporting people on Patreon because of Onision. It was almost like a stand against Onision. So now that he's been removed, I'm sure there will be people who will start supporting on Patreon again, who will start using the services again. So I think there's probably great value in that, really, isn't there? His sex doll had a Patreon. Yeah, guys, if you donate $50, you'll get to see a video of his doll talk about her breakfast and how she's doing today. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. I'm just fucking. I'm making jokes. I'm too drunk to be in this chat. I'll watch this later. Oh, all right. Well, enjoy yourself. But yeah, I mean, it's he wants to go somewhere else. He wants to go somewhere else. And if you guys have been following the story, and if not, I will tell you now. He has set up a new website. And he is literally replicating his Patreon setup on a third-party website. And he is speaking of it as an improvement. He's saying that things are going to get better, that he has now a lot more control over his content. And he actually seems to be showing a lot of confidence in what he's doing right now. And I find that very, very interesting. I would like to turn all of your attentions to this screen. I hope that this actually shows up the way I want it to. It's showing most of it. I'm actually like cut off from the bottom. Let me. Can I move myself, please? There we go. Very okay. I'm not perfect, but can I? There we go. It would fuck up my OCD. So there we go. So he puts, I'm approaching a replacement for Patreon. I haven't gone to bed yet. I've been working on getting something functional. If this works how I want it, Discord will work great. And the whole Patreon concept will be vastly improved with an elaborate exclusive forum, extremely easy to find downloads, and a number of other improved features. I'm going to bed now. The site is onisionfans.com. And I checked out the page to see if there was really anything that I could really garner from it. And this is what I was given. I was given a sign-in page. And this is a rarity to see something like this. This is a rarity to see. And I don't know if I should really be saying this, but the only times I really see things like this is when the people who run it are hiding things. And I'm not necessarily saying that about what Onision's doing right now, but a lot of those like private forums, they're really sketchy. And it's usually things that are, in some instances, some cases, some of these forums, illegal stuff that's going on. And I'm not necessarily saying that's what Onision is doing with this. I think he's being very, very careful, isn't he? But what I'm saying is it just gave me really bad vibes. Like seeing this when I went onto his website. It just gives me really, really bad vibes. Like, it's a closed forums. He gets to choose and pick who joins, and he can kind of control everything. And whilst I feel like as a live streamer, as a YouTuber, as a public figure, you should have some level of control over what you're putting out, the people who associate themselves with you. I feel like this much is scary, in my opinion, of course. And I think that's important for me to say, kind of moving forward on this. Let's bring back. He is a very sketchy dude, and I think it's can't Onision go and work like a normal person? Well, Jasmine, I think you've got to be aware of this, and I think this goes without saying that, especially somebody like him who's been a full-time live streamer and YouTuber for a number of years, maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he has become accustomed to his life. I feel the same way. I've been live streaming full-time and doing on another app for a number of years, and more recently I have kind of felt compelled to maybe start looking for a job. And I think, I'm sure you guys, when I say this, you'll realize, those of you who are on on the edge of this, on the fence, that having a huge gap in your resume, in your CV, can be very, very detrimental to being hired. Whether you have experience or not, whether you have a degree or not, especially on decent work, working somewhere of value, having a gap can be very difficult, and explaining that gap even more so. And I mean, sure, you can lie on your CV and resume, but that's a bit dangerous, in my opinion. That's not necessarily a good idea, and I would not encourage that. Yeah, and I wouldn't assume Onision's resume to really be of much. I'm not aware that he has really been up to much. And he could. What kind of job are you looking for? We're not getting into that, I see. Can you imagine interviewing Onision for a job? Yeah, you're just sitting behind the counter in McDonald's, and he comes down, he sits down with his Happy Meal, and you're sitting at the other side of the table, and you're like, okay, Onision, why would you like to work in McDonald's? Well, I work well under pressure. I'm good with kids. Oh, dude, I should have said that. All right, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop right there. What can I say, everybody? Just a bit of satire, of course. The army, wasn't he already in the military though? I'm not actually very aware of any of that. He states that he is. Some people have picked apart that he has not been, but I don't know why he would lie about that. But there are a lot of like veterans who spend time trying to pick apart people online, like public figures who say they're in the military, and try to like expose them as, you know, doing like stolen valor, which I completely get. Like, I think stolen valor is like one of the worst things that you could possibly do, and there is no reason to tell people that you served if you didn't. Like, it's just like bragging. Sucks. He was in the Air Force, and he was discharged. It was some dumb shit. He was dishonorably discharged. Really? I don't know. I feel like there's this one thing about YouTubers and public figures, is I feel like some people, they overshare. Don't you think so? Like, they share too much about themselves, and they talk about stories that aren't really smart to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people online who want their audience to feel very comfortable with them, but you don't need to talk about your job, your previous jobs, your life before live streaming or YouTube, to be able to situate that, to actually make people feel comfortable. It's just, in my opinion, it's a bit over the top. That's what I'm thinking, Timothy. That's what I'm thinking. He was just a wanker, right? I'm a fast learner, but you should be a vegetarian, is what he would say. Yeah, he probably wouldn't apply for McDonald's. He'd apply for some, I I mean, I feel like vegan joints, like vegan restaurants, are like really like few and far between. You know, especially in the UK. I mean, maybe in America if you're like in California or something, where everybody's trying to be eco-friendly and all that stuff. You know. Like I said, the discharge was sketchy. He served in South Korea for a time. Ooh, after Rabbitgate? Rabbitgate? I love when people do that. I love when people like state something that's like controversial and just add gate to it. I see it all the time. I just think it's so funny. I just think it's just a great fucking meme. I hope I don't have a gate anytime soon. But we'll see. We'll see. Guess this charge wasn't dishonorable. Oh. Well, anyway, guys, let's stop. Let's stop talking about it. I know it's my own fault, but can we like not? There are people watching this who are like, can we just get back to the good stuff, Loki, and an audience, please? So I want you guys to also be aware, and this is very, very important. Come on, yeah, guys, we've got to be nice to everybody else who's watching. This one I saw. Onision is doing a GoFundMe for a brand new forums. Look at this shit, guys. Look at this. Look at that. So, and apparently this campaign is trending. It's not received too much money right now. It might have received more by now. I'm not too sure exactly how it's doing. But guys, looks like he's getting a new forums. Could you imagine if he actually like had on this screenshot here like some damning evidence from his old forums? Could you imagine how like fucking funny that would be? Because one thing I really do want to say about Onision is he's really I've been saying that this guy is smart, and as like I've spent more time more recently watching his behavior, I realize he's actually he's very conniving and he's very manipulative. But he's actually not very intelligent, is what I've realised. Because he doesn't know how to... I mean, it's easy for me to say that and not put myself in his shoes. And I think it would be very difficult for a lot of people going through that, would be, you know, to keep their own sanity and to act and to behave intelligently and come across like eloquently in what they say. But I don't know, like... You know, I don't necessarily want to rip on the guy's intelligence too much, but it's like, just some of the things that he said recently, the whole doxing, like, you got to be an idiot to not realise that you just doxed one of your ex-partners, and that you could have literally you could have immediately removed it, you could have got rid of it, you could have blurred it up. It seemed like he did it on purpose. Even if he didn't realise even if he didn't do it on purpose, he still kept it up. He still went along with it. And that's the issue. That is the issue, everybody, isn't it? And I know some of you guys saying he's not that dumb. Well, he fucking is. He's smart in certain instances. Like he does, you know, he is a more intelligent guy, but he's not very rational. He's actually very irrational, and that seems to be I mean, you say that, Karma, and whilst yes, I do agree that you know, in a way I agree with that. I agree that he's a sociopath. I do genuinely believe that Greg is a sociopath. But the manipulative, conniving, controlling behavior, that doesn't... I mean, I don't know people who are, like, really dumb who are able to do that as well as he has done. And I hate to say that, but the way he's managed to not manipulate just his victims, but also thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people to go along with it and to support him and to attack his earlier victims, alleged victims, that requires a level of intelligence to pull off the way that he did. And if you disagree with that, that's okay, but that's at least my opinion on it. So whilst I feel like he's definitely not very bright in some of the things that he's doing. He's also intelligent in certain instances, and I believe that to be the case for a lot of people. I don't think we're all highly intelligent in every way, shape, or form. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's like one way or the other. Isabel. I don't think it's low intelligence or high intelligence. I think there can be a nice varied. It can be very varied, right? Anyway, I wouldn't even know. I mean, yeah, he is definitely childish, but I don't think it's just being childish. I think it's more to it than just that. Right. I'm sure a lot of you guys here are going to be watching the live stream tonight. I will be watching it in the morning, as it is late when it happens. I'll be watching it tomorrow, and I will be conducting a full review of the live stream. So, if any of you guys do watch, feel free to tune in. I'll be talking about it. We can discuss what happened, and I can provide you some feedback. You can provide me some feedback. We can go back and forth for about an hour talking about it. Should be good. And those of you who do not watch, do not worry. I will have timestamps for various things that I find interesting from the interview. I mean, the whole thing will be interesting, but I don't want to go through everything, because that means that the live stream will probably be like 2 or 3 hours long. So it's going to be the kind of the major focus points, and we will discuss those, and I will play those on live stream for you guys, so you guys can listen to it as well if any of you guys are not there. So you can tune in and pretty much get the 411. And for those of you who do watch, it'll just be a reminder, which I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate. As I'm not gonna lie, guys, when I wake up every morning, I forget most of what happened the previous day, especially key details. Anyway, see, I'm just waiting for Onision to set up his own OnlyFans account where he just like covers himself in Zambuca and various other drinks. Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to do that. You know, well, has he got an OnlyFans account where he's like Onision fans? Are you talking about his website? No, I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's a. What I mean by OnlyFans, the OnlyFans concept, isn't it just all like sexual? It's like it's mostly. It's not just women, but sometimes also men, but mostly women or teenage girls, adolescents who make accounts and post lewds and sometimes nudes. I literally couldn't imagine giving somebody money on one of those sites, but especially when there's such thing as Pornhub. Anyway. Honestly, I don't want to get into it, guys, but there are literally people in and I find it. I'm no shame. I think it's honestly, I actually respect sex workers, and I believe that they do have a place in society. I believe that prostitution should be legal and should be controlled, and that the women involved should be, and the men as well, should be protected. But whilst that is true, I find it very surprising to hear that there are women out there who make 6-digit salaries from literally posting pictures of their tits, and like sex acts and stuff. I just find it shocking. But I mean, good on them. If there are literally enough men and women out there who want to pay for those services, good for you. You're who pays for that? You would be fucking surprised. No, seriously, I'm actually, you're not. There are literally women out there and men. I don't want it to just be women. There are men as well, but it's you mostly see women who do this, and I think it's mostly women who are involved in this because it's mostly men who pay for it. Women don't need to pay for sex or sexual engagement. They can. Men are the ones who are usually like that. A lot of people who want to see it, who want to gain perks. You got to be aware, guys, there's a lot of very rich, influential businessmen out there who may have been hit by the ugly stick a couple of times. Maybe it's not the ugly stick. Maybe they've been hit by the social anxiety stick. Maybe they just, they don't really mesh well with people. And when they come home from a busy day of, pitching a new hotel to their senior manager, they come home in their brand new BMW that they've got leased currently, and they jump online and spend $1,000 to see some girl fuck herself. It's just it is what it is. Like it is what it is, guys. Yeah. The freaks come out at night, right? But oh yeah, be aware, guys. My live streams aren't necessarily for children. I have marked on my live streams that these streams are not child friendly, and they shouldn't be child advertiser friendly either. In that regard, my live streams are for a arguably, I would say, an 18+ audience. I would argue that. But if you are younger here, just be careful. Yeah, be careful on the internet. Anyway, like I can't control who watches me, but just stay safe. Especially with people out there who are running around YouTube and shit. Has been talking about favour sex, right? Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. A lot of people here today. Lovely to see all of you here. Thank you very much for joining. So I'm actually aware that a live streamer, or actually a YouTuber by the name of Edwin, who has been one of the kind of front faces that's been involved in this whole Onision scandal, he did a kind of spontaneous live stream recently. And he posted a little tweet about it. I'm not too sure how many of you guys watched it. I'm aware of that, Nicole. Yeah, it seems a lot of the people who I'm now engaging myself with came from YouNow, which is where I came from. And I still go on YouNow occasionally, but yeah, I notice a lot of people who are from there. Hey Rosie. So Edwin posts on his Twitter that he and I will quote: "I did a spontaneous live stream tonight, going over the details of Onision's Patreon being removed, and vowed to send over all the AdSense earnings to Billy. Onision has manually claimed my stream, so this is no longer possible. But I did send her $50 straight after the show, anyways." Can I ask a question? Why is Billy getting AdSense revenue? Did he do a stream with her, or what? Why is that? Or was he did he feel like it was the right thing to do? I'm just wondering. I've not really known that to ever really be the case. Because Onision doxed Billy. Ah, okay. So because Onision doxed Billy, Edwin decided to give her money. He just did it to be nice. That's why I'm asking. I'm just asking for to understand it. That is really nice, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of people don't do that. That's why I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm asking this. A lot of people don't do that. And I am aware that a lot of these not a lot of these, some of the victims, alleged victims, are kind of struggling right now. They're going through various things, and it's nice that there are people out there who actually give a fuck and actually put their money where their mouth is. I think that's very important. I think it's very very nice. I don't know what colour his hair is. He's got blonde hair in his picture, but tomato. Okay, that if what Heather is saying is true, that makes more sense. To help with a new phone number if needed. Right, so like getting a new phone. And I am aware that some of the alleged victims, apparently, this is what I heard recently on an interview between Vincent and Deity, is that the FBI have confiscated a couple of things and are holding it for their inquiry investigation from some of the alleged victims. So perhaps that money is paying for replacing those devices, the laptop and the phone, or towards it, right? I fuck with that. That's really, really cool. I dig it. No, I really, yeah. Okay, that actually makes the most sense to me. Because just doing it because you're nice, whilst respectful, and it's like good Samaritan, right? It's very, very rare that people will just go, "Well, you're somebody who's gone through a hard time, so here, have some of my money." And like you don't need to give money to be sympathetic and supportive of somebody else. But if it is, to, help the fact that she's obviously lost things because of this investigation, it makes sense. But I really dig it. Honestly, Edwin seems like a really nice dude, and I would love to work with him at some point. But anyway. Not to be crude, but his victims are really poor. Yeah, well, I don't really want to get into that. I don't think it's my place to. It's yeah. I'm not going to get into that. That is touchy at best. Loki, did you see Edwin said Discord is investigating? Yeah, I mean, I heard that. Is there any proof that represents that? Did Discord say anything about it? Or is he just saying, oh, they are? Because I don't really believe hearsay. I don't know. I guess some of you guys do, but like, I believe it when I fucking see it. Did Discord tweet it? Did Discord tweet it? I fuck with that. Honestly, if Discord is genuinely looking into it, by the way, I have my own Discord, but if Discord is literally, is going into this, I can really fuck with that. And I hope they do. I hope they do look into the situation. I don't know if Discord's policy is the same as Patreon's. I don't know if they take care of like outside problems. But I don't know. I feel like if enough people complain to Discord, they'll get rid of him just like Patreon did. That seems to be the winning ticket. Like if enough people complain about something will be done about it. You know what I mean? But anyway. So there were some things that I saw on Twitter, and I thought we would spend the rest of the live stream discussing these things. And maybe I'll get some feedback from you guys. You can offer your perspective on some of these comments that I saw. And whilst I'm not going to share who posted this comment, or these comments even, I am going to read them out to you, just to get you guys aware. And you might have seen some of these tweets. You might have seen some of these references. I think it definitely has value to kind of discuss this. So somebody on Twitter states the following: I am low-key worried that the mainstream media will start playing right into Greg's hands, just focusing on his over-the-top and deliberate outbursts, which he will inevitably do more of, and in turn send him new followers who aren't aware or don't care about the grooming and abuse allegations. How do you guys feel about that? That's one thing I do definitely offer here on my live streams on the LowkeyLoki channel. Is we could definitely discuss some of the things that people say. How do you feel? How do you feel about that? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? And if so, for either case, why? If you feel that case. Let's have a look. Alright, so we've got... I don't think that's how it will play out, though. Okay. No, that's actually what I was kind of thinking, but... can you repeat? No, I can't. Can't you rewind the stream and just watch it again? And then fast forward? You guys are able to do that, right? Yeah, that's a thing. MSM don't care. Only The Verge had made an article. I appreciate you discussing the tweets. I don't enjoy Twitter. Don't worry about it. I don't really enjoy Twitter either. It's fucking toxic as fuck. To be honest. The amount of bullshit on there. Honestly, I think once, like, you know, if I end up getting really big on YouTube, I probably won't really pay attention to my Twitter. I'll probably have I'll have like a PR person run my Twitter for me. Because it's just nonsense to be on there. All these platforms detaching are like his limbs being attached, my dudes. It's true. Anyway, let's read what some of you guys are putting. Greg is not powerful and rich like Epstein. Right. He's feeling it. He's an untouchable after all. Right. 4 mainstream outlets have covered the story. Yeah, I heard it was quite a few. All publicity is good publicity unless you're a pedo. I hope that that means stream media will show his outbursts included, along with why they're reporting on him, including the fact that he's under investigation for grooming, etc. But they're not going to do that, Heather. Like, that's the thing. Like, I completely respect what you're saying. Like, and I agree with you. But that's not media, man. Media aren't like that. Media don't play by the rules. They're literally gonna take little bits that aren't gonna be dangerous to the company. They're not gonna take huge risks unless they know it's gonna really pay off. All right? And I don't know if any of them actually have really spoken about the allegations. It seems they're mostly spoken about the doxing, and that seems to be what a lot of the headlines are. Is that like, oh, he's alleged doxing, yada yada yada. But there doesn't really seem to be anywhere that's doing like a legitimate full-on story about the allegations. Like that's really it, isn't it? Whatever, man. But he's weird like Jimmy Savile. Yeah, I mean, guys, don't get on me, right? But, like, I feel like there are certain people that you can, like, look at them and you can, like, interact with them and you already know they're a fucking, like, creepy, most likely a full-on nonce. Like, an example, right? And do not go down my throats on this. I do not give a fuck, alright? I will fucking silence you. Michael Jackson is a creepy motherfucker. Alright? And I do not fucking care about any of you here who believe that his music's really good and he's not a pedo, because he is, alright? He was a fucking nonce. He literally got little boys who he babysit to strip down and get into a hot tub with him. He's a fucking creep. That's all I'm saying. Hee hee! Like, come on, man. I'm just fucking... And it actually annoys me to talk about it, but it's like... And I used to really like Michael Jackson's music when I was, like, young. And I actually, one Halloween, I dressed up as Michael Jackson. And, it's just... Is there any proof? Well, there is proof that he was babysitting children and bringing children to his home and having them stay over. So, yeah. 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 Rolf Harris. Don't get me started on Rolf Harris, man. Yeah. But yeah, okay, he was innocent twice, but like, do you guys not realize that he paid off the victims? I mean, you guys are aware of that, right? You are aware that he like paid off the victims. But whatever. Yeah, I mean, if you guys like, I mean, Evelyn, thank you for the compliment about my accent. I do appreciate that. Right. Don't you realize there was no evidence? Ugh, cringe. Ugh. It's a creepy dude, man. Anyway, we can sit and argue this as much as we want to, but maybe I'll talk about this on another live stream. I feel sorry for all of the young boys who had to deal with that. Anyway, so yeah, this is a big room splitter. It is. I fucking stand by what I say, man. I stand by what I say. That is my opinion. And honestly, before Jimmy Savile died, I knew he was a fucking nonce. And I even told my mom that he was a nonce. Like back in the day. Fucking knew it. Anyway. Loki, should Kai be banned from Patreon? I mean, if Kai is doing anything to constitute a ban on Patreon or elsewhere, then yes. And whilst the allegations are definitely standing against Kai, we can't just say, well, because there are allegations against you elsewhere that is completely unrelated to everything, that you should be removed from everything. I mean, I feel like that's a bit much. Until we actually find out more about this, and we actually get like a resolution. We find out if this is actually a thing or not. I think that's very, very important. Right now, Kai has Onision podcasts on her Patreon. Wouldn't that constitute breaking the rules? In my opinion. But if he doesn't have that, sorry guys. When you spend your whole life doing one thing, and then more recently you're having to be like super PC, and you're having to try and like not do that. I'm not making excuses, but I'm sorry. He does have that. Yeah, but that's the thing, though, isn't it? That's the thing about going through. Like, I know some of you guys don't give a shit about it, but a lot of people. You are aware that people who go through transitions, they are mainly usually told to spend a couple of years living as that gender without any surgery or hormones. And being constantly misgendered during that period must be quite annoying. So I do get it. And I don't intentionally do it, so I just want people to be aware. It's just an old habit that's dying hard, isn't it? Anyway. Alright. Well, okay, YouTube schizophrenic. Alright. Fucking yikes. So, I mean, speaking of transitions, and I think this is what Margot Indigo put on Twitter. I shouldn't be saying names, but public person, public figure. Margot stated, am I the only one who feels like Onision has forced Kai into a transition as a way to completely strip her of all femininity possible? Look at Shiloh, Billy, and now Kai, all being stripped in the exact same ways. No makeup allowed, no bras allowed, no long hair, nothing feminine. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys think that Margot Indigo is correct? Or not? Quick answer, please, guys. FYI, Repsion just uploaded a video about Kai. Cool. Well, I'll review it when I finish my live stream, I suppose. I'll have a look. Thank you for letting me know. I'm sure a lot of you guys will go watch it once I finish this live stream. I really see if there's anything that's like different. Most of you guys are agreeing. Most of you guys are supporting it, and you agree with that. Yeah, I feel like it's more about that, Lex, than anything. It seems like he just loves humiliating his victims and partners. Will you be doing a Loki after dark today? I don't know. I mean, depends if people want me to, I suppose. If I get like enough, maybe like ones in the chat later on, I might do one. But maybe I'll watch that actually on the Loki after dark, perhaps. Maybe. I bet YouTube's run by these sick fucks. I mean, there's loads of pedo rings, aren't there? Let's be honest, just out there in general. See, what I want to say about this is, I think it's difficult to really say whether this is actually what he does. I think it's a really good assumption, though. I think it's really on the mark. It's right on the point. And Margot, I've always known Margot to not really hold back, and I can really respect that actually. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. He's like the I have a black friend person. You think so? Oh man, those fucking people. Oh yeah, I can say racist things and be racist because I have a black friend. It's just so dumb. Like, it's just... dude. Shut up. Shut up. Anyway. Nick! Fucking... Who the fuck... Which one of my moderators allowed that comment in my chat? Fucking hell! What are you doing? What are you doing, moderator? Oh yikes! We got some funny gang in here, don't we, guys? Thanks for sorting that out. I appreciate it. The Mandalorian is fucking awesome. Just so you guys know, I appreciate that. I need to watch it actually. You need mods in your chat. Well, how about? Oh, that's actually valid. So this week I'm going through I'm going with like a little bit of an overhaul. I'm sorting out my Patreon. Well, not my Patreon, sorry. I'm not doing Patreon anytime soon. I'm sorting out my Discord. I am going to subsequently, on my Discord, be doing... I don't know what it's going to be. I think it's going to be like a very impromptu... what's the word? Not even an interview. It's just going to be like an opportunity for people to message me who would like to be my moderators, and I'm going to ask them some questions about their experience and just I'm going to ask, maybe do some scenarios with them and to see how they would handle things. And from the people who apply, I'll accept like 4 or 5 of them, perhaps. An audition, yeah. Well, one thing I've been made aware of, and I don't know how many of you guys watch other live streamers on here, but there are lots of YouTubers who get themselves in with, in my opinion, shitty people, or people who, and also vice versa, like people who get themselves in with shitty YouTubers. I think it's both. But because this is obviously I'm the YouTuber, I am looking for people who will represent me well and will not cause me drama, will not raise me any negativity, and will just do their fucking job. Where they will be given a heraldic position in my streams. They will be one of my few and chosen moderators that will be able to control and nurture my chat. But with great power comes great responsibility, everybody, and that is very, very important. New video. Is there a new YouTube video? Is it like new, like right now new? Oh, there's nothing brand new. It's just sorry with one R and wow. Like, yeah, it's sorry with one R, guys. Minutes. I haven't seen it. If you guys have it, please send it to me. Is it on Obro? Oh, it's on Obro. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, so who would like me to end this live stream and start another live stream where I will just review this video right now? Who would like that? Would you guys like that? Yeah? So it'll be a bit like what I did with my Patreon live stream recently. And I'd like to ask this, because obviously I'm aware you guys probably don't want to watch his video. You don't want to give him views, right? So you can watch me, and then he'll just demonetize me, which is what he does all the time anyway. But I would like to ask you guys this question. It is 11:30 for me, and whilst it is quite late in the UK, I have a fucked up sleeping schedule because I pretty much live on American time. I would like to ask all of you guys, who would like me to do a Loki After Dark today? And for any of you guys who do not know, I sometimes do a very late live stream for me where we literally just sit. I will watch various YouTubers. I will talk about various subjects. It's more of like a kind of more relaxing, let's have a chat live stream. If any of you guys would like me to do it, put a 1 in the chat. Just 1-1. Remember, guys, if you put loads of 1s, you're technically spamming, and I'll have to end up doing a Markiplier video, and you don't want that, do you? Be aware, guys, if you post a 1, I expect you to be fucking there, right? I swear to God, if I start that live stream and there's like 5 people there, I will just have to have an amazing live stream with 5 people. You wouldn't want that, would you? Robert, I already have the link. Don't worry. Don't worry, Robert. Everything's hunky-dory. I've got the Bro page up. There's also a video which is called I Hate Boyfriends, and it looks really weird, but... I'm a post 1 and go to bed, or... Livid. But I'll say, guys, thank you very much, all of you. Oh, is that like... I mean, it's from 7 minutes ago. Is he taking a hiatus from Twitter again? Yeah, I'm just going to watch it tomorrow. Okay, I don't know, Robert, if you're the right person for me to fucking ask about this, but... I'm just going to watch it, alright? I'm just going to do a video on it. I feel it's clickbait. Sure, well, Sparrow, what's clickbait for him is clickbait for me. So, like, you know what I mean? I could say I'm reviewing his hiatus video, and I might get some views on it, which may give me more subscribers, which will help me grow. And build myself up into a more serious commentary channel, which is a win-win for me. Okay, so guys, I will do this. It will be up in the next 10 minutes. It will be a very, very quick live stream. So if you're not there, you can just watch it back. And in my following live stream, I will post maybe another 5 or 10 minutes later. And all right, Demi, we'll do what you want to do. And then another 5 or 10 minutes afterwards, I will do a Loki After Dark live stream. I'm not coming. Oh, Jacob. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, feel free to watch the Kai Files thing. I don't really mind if you guys are there or if you guys just watch it in your own fruition. It doesn't really bother me. But guys, thank you very much for being here today. Thank you to those of you who've engaged and been a part of this conversation. Those of you who've obviously watched. And big shout out to those of you who have donated today. I really do appreciate the contributions. It does mean a lot. And we will go watch that video. I'll be on in a moment. Bye, everybody.